The STEM Society.
Welcome back to the STEM Society. My name is Cole Jackson. This is episode 107, and we're live. Thank you guys for joining me for another episode. We had a full week this week, man. Ton of news, Offset and Cardi B, and spousal support. That sounds nasty. I'm going to break down what the Tory Lanez legal team just dropped as far as like the suppressed evidence. I wanted to get into that and then talk about what could come from this and how everybody's talking about it. And I also wanted to get into complex list of the top 50 LA rappers. I think it's very divisive and I have a ton of opinions about it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the news.
Music news.
How many of you hate your exes? It's okay, you can raise your hand. Clearly, Offset hates his ex-wife because he is taking it to the extreme. Offset decided to ask Cardi B for spousal support. This is something that looks very PR to me, but who knows? I don't know if he's trying to win the divorce or not, but this just feels like a PR situation. He wants to win in the public. He wants to show that men can get back just like women can get back. Flipping the script is something I have really been watching here recently when it comes to relationships in 2025. Let's break down what's going on. First, Offset decided to file paperwork so he can get custody of the kids. Apparently, Cardi is not the type of mother we think she is. Now, I'm not saying she is or she's not because I don't know these people. I just know what he filed. So while he filed for joint custody of his children, he's asking for spousal support. Let me just tell you right now, this has nothing to do with him being a man, or this has nothing to do with him actually needing the money. This has everything to do with being jealous of the new boyfriend she got. I'm just gonna tell you from my point of view because I'm a man and I've been jealous of my ex's new man before as well. And this is a jealousy play. He is pissed because they're on boats having a good time. And he's sitting up here like, you with the nigga that I used to be. They're the same dude. I'm just saying, one's just open in front of her face about it, and the other one was just creeping behind her back. But at this end of the day, they're the same person. People have heard all of the stories about Stephon Diggs and the type of a guy he is when it comes to women. And I think that's what made Offset so mad, and that's what one of the reasons why he wanted to ask for spousal support. Something that hasn't really been coming up, or I haven't really seen people talk about during this whole thing, is Cardi's home being listed as the main residence for during this joint custody battle. He wants her place to be the mainstay. Like he wants her home to be the home where the kids stay at for the joint custody situation, which equates to him saying, I want to see what you're doing when I come see the kids. If he gonna be over there, I just want to look that man in his face. That's exactly what this is. He's just trying to keep tabs on his ex. I honestly feel like he's still in love with Cardi. And he lost a really good thing. Take it from a man who's been hurt before. I have stalked my ex's pages for years just to see if they're doing better than me. And at the end of the day, that's how he's doing it. If he's setting this whole situation up where he wants the kids to be there at her home, but he's still doing the joint custody thing and asking for spousal support, he is just somebody who's just who's stalking her. Sometimes when you have something good and you can't let it go, you got to just be able to have access to it. And you've been seeing this throughout the time they've been talking about this recent divorce. They haven't got divorced yet, and they were at birthday parties together. She linked up with him in New York at one point in time. Like, they have been in each other's life on and off since they announced this divorce thing. And now it's to the point where he's just like, I'm not done with you yet. And I ain't mad at it. I say keep tabs, keep tabs on your ex, man. If you love her that much, keep going. Why not? It's all part of the plan, right? It's just an interesting situation to ask somebody for spousal support and then keep the kids at her house. You a slick nigga, and I see where you're going with this. So in typical Cardi fashion, she actually gets on X and crashes out. Now, I do have a clip of that. I'm gonna play it for you right here.
I don't want nobody fucking calling me. Now you a bitch. And now I'ma state my shit. His bitch ass. Gonna tell the Breakfast Club The only reason why this motherfucker asking for spousal support because I was asking for everything. I don't be with my kids. Yo, you such a fucking pussy ass nigga. Word to my mother. I want you to die, but I want you to die fucking slow, nigga. Yo, I want you to die slow in the bed. And while you die, nigga, you gotta think of me. When I first filed for divorce, my lawyer filed for shit. And this nigga started spazzing, right? So I told my lawyer, there's a renew divorce paper, right? I didn't ask for no child support because I want to be done with this marriage. Like, I feel like I'm tied up. Kiari is allowed to see my kids. There is not one day that he's not allowed to see my kids. He stood up my kids 3 times.
So Cardi sounds pretty pissed off. I didn't listen to. I wasn't there to listen to the Twitter Spaces. I just heard all the clips online, just like everybody else. Let me just tell you guys let me just tell you what I see. I see a man who is upset with this whole situation as far as like losing a wife who kept accepting him through all of the cheating. If we're going to be real with each other, let's be real. She was letting him get away with murder. And now she's with a new dude that's typically got the same kind of reputation as he had. So yeah, of course you're gonna be a little bit upset. You sitting up here again with the same type of dude when you could have just stayed married to me and I could have stayed cheating on you. The nerve, the audacity. And now it's to the point where he's trying to play this game with her in the public and internet streets. I'm going to sit up here and put this out that you're not a good mother. This custody battle is going to look messy. I'm going to ask for spousal support. I don't care what kind of hit I take as a man. I know I got 30 plus mil in the bank. I'm trying to take from your 100 plus mil. And it's just a petty move. The whole thing is just pettiness from his end, which means he's hurt. He's a hurt dude. He's just a hurt man. I've been there, brother. You miss what you had. You miss how wonderful it was to have a wife in your corner and somebody who took care of a lot of things that you probably couldn't take care of. These chicks that you date now probably don't know nothing. Believe me, once you move on with somebody you've been with for a long time, you end up getting with the dumbest motherfucker you probably can. And I think that's what he did. But at the end of the day, I have to commend him for having the balls enough to ask for the spousal support, because a lot of men don't do that because they're scared of the hit that they're going to take. But it takes balls to do that, especially her. And I think that Cardi is going to sit up there and expose everything she possibly can about him. I think she's going to tell it all because she does not like the fact that they're still in each other's life and she wants to move forward. Sometimes petty can go wrong on you, bruh. I'm going to just be real. When you start going down that road, there are a lot of times where it's going to backfire on you. You're going to look crazy. And I think this might end up biting him in the ass at the end of the day. Do you think Offset is wrong for this? Like, do you think him flipping the script on Cardi is going to end up backfiring on him? Talk to me. Let me know in the comments. I really want to hear what kind of conversation you guys have on this. The biggest thing that's hit the internet this week is Tory Lanez and this website and this suppressed evidence. For everybody who hasn't seen it, Tory Lanez legal team just dropped a website called 36hourslater.com. I went to the site to check it out for myself. It's kind of hard not to when every fucking outlet was posting it. And I went to look for everything in myself. And let me just tell you, it's some shit there that really does look suspicious. And I'm trying to understand why it wasn't brought up in the case. I mean, they have the video of her sitting down talking to police officers saying that she wasn't shot. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. I'm just telling you guys what's on the website. There's also pictures of her feet from that night. There's also video of her talking about what happened that night and how Meg Thee Stallion's story changed a couple times. There's some really interesting tidbits throughout that whole thing, and it really has a lot of people changing their mind or their stance about what really happened that night and if Tory Lanez should be free or not. So, of course, Meg Thee Stallion's team had to answer this as soon as it came out. I know Alex Spiro, came out and just said, hey, this content is misleading. All of this stuff that you guys are saying that you've seen, we've already addressed this stuff. Why are we still going back and forth about it? And I'll be real with y'all. This is starting to become more political than it is about two celebrities. Like I said before, there is a Florida congresswoman who is pressing this issue very hard, and she wants justice out of the California legal system. Do you find that weird? Because I do. Somebody in Florida pressing California about what the legal system is. Somebody trying to sit up here and tell Gavin Newsom, hey, you need to change this stuff. You're stupid. There's a lot of political things that intertwine in this that we're not talking about. But of course, we're not talking about it because we're so caught up in the glitz and glamour of the celebrities. Tory is in the hospital right now. Tory Lanez is still in the hospital, still recovering. That man almost died from the 14 stab wounds. And you know what's crazy too? Around about the same time the website dropped, we get a video of him getting stabbed up in prison. With all of this suppressed evidence coming out and with all these people coming forward to tell their side of the story, and on top of people still pushing that petition, one of the things, and this is a side note here, but one of the things that people aren't talking about is how more and more artists in hip hop are starting to push this petition and starting to see it from a different angle when this website came out. And that's true. That's if I was on Meg's team, or if I was on Meg's legal team, I would be thinking about what to do to change the narrative again, because right now it's really looking like people are starting to move towards Tory's side of things. That doesn't mean that he's right. Let me sit that down right there. That doesn't mean that he's right. Meg Thee Stallion lied because she wanted to protect her career. Tory Lanez lied because he thought he was protecting black women. And Kelsey lied because she was enraged about what happened. And I think she was trying to protect herself from what could possibly be her shooting her best friend. I don't know what happened that night still. I don't claim to even want to be Team Tory, Team Meg. I claim to say we shouldn't be backing liars. Somebody's got to pay for the stupid shit that happened that night. And right now, Tory seems to be the person who's being sacrificed. Now, after seeing all of this evidence that's come out, or the suppressed evidence that they keep saying has come out, I have really been on leaning more towards maybe he does need to get a retrial. I don't think you should free anybody. If this evidence can give him a retrial, I'm all for that. I'm forever going to say the justice system needs to be fair and help this man figure out, and help the people figure out what really happened. Nobody should be in prison for something that they didn't do. I'm not going to claim that Tory didn't do it, but if you go to that website and you look at the shit that they got on there, it's a lot of stuff that will push you towards that direction of him possibly being innocent. I didn't say 100%. I said possibly be innocent. And we are supposed to question everything when it comes to the justice system. Let's be honest here. The California legal system has been on some crazy shit for the last 5 years. Since the pandemic, they haven't been doing shit the right way. I can most definitely agree to that because of people I've talked to and things that I've seen on the news. The legal system in California is fucked up. Now, if this man took the fall for something that he didn't do, he deserves to get a retrial. If his legal team can come up with something to make sure that he is going to be free and it really sticks, then why not? Why not? You get what I'm saying? Everybody's so gun-ho on picking a side. And I don't want to pick any side because none of these people mean anything to me at all. Tory don't give a fuck about me. Meg Thee Stallion don't give a fuck about me. And I don't even know what Kelsey's doing anymore. But the fact of the matter is, we still owe somebody a fair trial. We owe somebody to be able to give his side of the story for real. And yes, I know if he was really innocent, he would have got up and he would have said something. But you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And Lord knows he was stupid for not doing that. But I also understand that he had a legal team that just didn't know what they were doing. And he had a legal team that was a bunch of idiots. They played him. They fucking took his money and played him. I think people are out here getting their pitchforks and calling for blood when at the end of the day, they need to figure out what really matters here. The person that you want to back, or getting the real truth of what happened that night and finally getting real justice. Just looking at how split the internet is on this, it really looks nasty out here. Y'all are looking crazy with some of the shit that y'all are saying. This case is layered with a lot of ego. This case is layered with a lot of media spin. It's a lot of things going on. I know I have my point of view on it, in my opinion. But what do y'all think? Do you think this is something that's going to help the case, or you think this is just really hurting the whole situation? Tory should just go back to prison and sit down and be quiet. Let me know in the comments what you think. I've been waiting all episode to get to this segment, and I'm amped because I get to rip Complex a new one. Complex just dropped their top 50 LA rappers list, and it is a trash list. It's garbage. I hate it. I can't believe that we're getting this bullshit. I can't believe they're still doing lists. I know it's out there for clickbait, and I know they do this to have us argue back and forth about this, but I personally feel like they don't know anything about LA rappers or who really is some of the best rappers in LA. I'm not going to go over the full list because that would take me all day. But I do want to talk about this top 5, and that was my biggest complaint. Number 5 was Tyler the Creator. I think that he doesn't need to be at number 5 because most people didn't even know he was from LA until he went to the pop out. I've literally heard people say, I didn't know Tyler the Creator was from LA. Yeah, nigga, he's a LA nigga. He's been an LA nigga from the jump. But nobody knew that until they seen him at the Kendrick Lamar pop out show, which is crazy. Number 4 was Dr. Dre. So let me establish this right now by saying Dr. Dre is not a rapper. He hadn't wrote no rhymes. He always had some rhymes wrote for him. And if he did write those rhymes, they were trash. I don't see Dr. Dre being at number 4. I think he's probably he would probably be number 4 when it comes to like personalities out of LA or like musicians or whatever the case may be. But putting Dr. Dre at number 4 in a top 5 of LA rapper list is ridiculous. I just can't accept that. That's crazy. Ice Cube ended up at number 3. My problem with Ice Cube being at number 3 is he is one of the founding fathers of West Coast hip hop. He's one of the best writers I've ever seen in my life. He's written for a few people. He knows how to write. He knows how to rap. He knows how to do it all. And him being at number 3 is just crazy. Number 2, Snoop Dogg. You niggas are gonna put Snoop at number 2 in a top 50 LA rapper list. And let me tell you why he's number 2, because the number 1 dude is somebody that they're living in the moment for. Kendrick Lamar ended up being the number 1 rapper out of LA. My problem with this is in the moment. This is still fresh off of GNX. They're seeing the momentum he has off of his touring. And I personally feel like he's not the number 1 rapper out of LA. I think he has a great catalog. I think he has given us some classic albums. I think he is really the guy right now. Right now, he is the guy. He has not always been the guy. Throughout his generation, he has not been the guy. He's given us great music, but being the guy, I don't know. It don't resonate with me that way. I think Kendrick deserves to have a spot in the top 5, but I just don't think he should have the number 1 spot. Another reason why this list is trash is because The Game ended up at number 11. And The Game was one of those rappers who put the West Coast on his back when the West Coast was quiet. In the early 2000s, I'm telling you right now, you couldn't say The Game was not at the top of hip hop. The Game was running shit. He had some great albums. He went on a bit of a run. He did everything he had to do to represent the West Coast. You know what I like too? The Game actually answered Complex by on his Instagram by putting a whole bunch of laughing emojis on over his picture and saying at Complex smoking that good dope. Yeah, they are smoking crack over there, bruh. The Game should at least be in the top 10. Having him at number 11, I feel like is a slight to him because he's contributed way more and he is one of the best rappers out of LA. I don't know who Complex have in these rooms. I don't know if they called any LA rappers to actually help with the vote and put this together. I think it's just a lot of media writer guys sitting up there just, saying, oh, well, this would be cool. Put rappers in the room with you guys when you are making these lists. It only makes sense to be able to put rappers from LA to help you come up with this list. I'm not saying the whole fucking people, the room has to be LA rappers, but I would say at least 70% of the room should be rappers out of LA helping you put this list together. The criteria of it, I don't know because I don't want to know. I hate the criteria that they use because it's always leaning towards what's popular and not what's real. And I just feel like the whole list is just nasty work, man. It was some shit in there it was some more shit that I didn't like DJ Quick and where he was placed at, or the fact that King T was so low, or the fact that they had Schoolboy Q at a certain spot. The whole thing is a mess. If you haven't looked at the list yet, please go look at that list and tell me what you think about it. But in the meantime, I decided to put together my own list. So I changed the top 5. I put together my personal best top 5 rappers out of LA. I know a little bit about LA hip hop. Don't ask me how, I just know. And I'm gonna give you my top 5, and you guys tell me what you think in the comments and debate me on it. If you don't like what I put down there, you put your top 5 on there and you put your top 5 against my top 5, and let's see who wins. So let's start at number 5. I had to put him at number 5 because he held the West on his back in the early 2000s. The Game. The Game is number 5 in this list. And you guys can say whatever you want to, but I'm standing on this one. Without the Game, the West would not be talked about, and LA would not be talked about anymore if he didn't step up and carry the West on his back in the early 2000s. I think he has a lot. He's lyrically, he's there. I've listened to the Game 400 bars and running. I don't know if you've ever heard that before. His mixtapes with Heat, I don't think there's a time when the Game hasn't really been on top of things. No, I'll take that back. When he did that when Kanye produced that one album, that shit was trash. He didn't have some trash, but he had more hits than he has misses. And I think just being able to carry the West on his back throughout the early 2000s gives him the right to be number 5 on this list. Number 4, Kendrick Lamar. I put Kendrick Lamar at number 4 because he's still writing out his legacy. He's given us a couple of classics. He's given us great concerts. He's given us great moments in hip hop. He's still representing LA to the fullest, but at the end of the day, he's still writing a story. I don't think you can put a rapper at number 1 when he's still writing a story. He's still got a lot more left in the tank. He just dropped a great album in the GNX, and I think he has one more classic in his bag. His story's not over yet. He still has a lot more to give, and he's still repping LA, and he's going to be the reason why we get more LA rappers, or we're going to get more rappers out of LA that are inspired to do music like he's doing. I think he's a great writer. I think he has a lot of impact, but I just don't think he should be at the number 1 spot. Number 3, Ice-T. Ice-T is the godfather of gangster rap. He gave LA their voice very early in the game. He represented LA when a lot of people wasn't doing that. And I think we should give him his props and his flowers because we don't get a lot of shit without him representing and showing up in different places in New York and all over these other places. Ice-T represented LA to the fullest. And was the music always positive? No, he was talking about something dope. He was talking about fuck the police before before it was cool. He was saying a lot of things. He was talking about LA gang culture. He was bringing up a lot of shit that is still talked about to this day. And I think he is one of the foundations or one of the pillars when it comes to LA hip hop. I just feel like putting him as low as they did, they're not really realizing how important Ice-T is to LA. Which brings me to number 2, Ice Cube. Ice Cube is one of the best writers I've ever heard in my life. Like I've heard the stuff that he's wrote for other rappers. Ice Cube is somebody who we just look at him from Friday, bruh, and he's bigger than that. He started out in NWA. He was writing raps for people in NWA. He moved seamlessly into a solo career where he had to be great or he was going to flounder, and he did that. He had to overcome that shadow of NWA. He did that. And I've heard him on songs with a lot of the best, and he's hung with a lot of the best. You can't tell me that Ice Cube is not one of the best rappers out of LA. It ain't possible. I think he was number 3. I moved him up a spot because I think he's super important of where West Coast rap ended up being. and just being one of those foundational pillars that we needed to be able to move the West forward. And number one, and it shouldn't be a surprise, Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is the number one rapper out of LA. Doggy Style is the cornerstone of modern West Coast rap. Without Snoop, without the Chronic, which he was the centerpiece on, and without Doggy Style, we don't get the modern hip hop. We don't get the modern West Coast sound. You can argue with somebody else. You can't argue with me. Snoop Dogg was there. Snoop Dogg had been repping LA from the very beginning. He still reps LA to the fullest. And I think a lot of times we downplay Snoop because he's such a personality now. It's because people look at him as Uncle Snoop. But Snoop was there and repping the West Coast even when he was signed to No Limit. He was really still repping the West, bruh, and he was he was signed to a down south label. I'm sorry, man. Snoop overcame a lot of stuff. Was every album the best? No. But you knew what you was gonna get when you got a Snoop Dogg record. And you know he was gonna put out some of the best rhymes he possibly could. And I know he passed the crown to Kendrick, but I will forever say Snoop Dogg is a big part of modern West Coast rap because of Doggy Style. That was one of the most anticipated solo albums to ever come out. And if that doesn't move forward, if that is not a success, I don't think West Coast rap is a success. So we have to make sure we give the crown to Snoop. Snoop will forever be LA. When I think about LA rap, I think about Snoop Dogg. So that's my list. That's my top 5 list. Again, if it's something that you don't like or you want to argue, put it in the comments and let me know what you think. But that's it. That's all I got for the show. It has been a blessing and an honor to be able to do this with you guys. And I'm glad you came back for more. I really appreciate the love and the support that you guys have been giving me. And if you want to continue to give me love and support, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys turn the notifications on so you know when we get new videos. And give me some likes, man. Give me some likes and comment. This is not a one-sided conversation. It's always a two-way street. But I appreciate you guys for joining me. Make sure you follow me on social media as well. You can follow me on Instagram at ColeJackson_BYNK, or you can follow me on Twitter at ColeJackson12. I'm always up for a conversation, and I'm always down to be able to do some spaces with y'all. Hopefully we can get that going in the near future. But with that being said, I got nothing else. Thank you guys for joining me, and I'll catch you next episode. Peace out.
Thank you for joining the STEM Society.